How's everyone? Today I'm here with my WWE NXT TakeOver The End review. Of course, NXT TakeOver The End took place live tonight on the WWE Network. And as always, as NXT does, they deliver, and there's no exception here with this show. Absolutely great show here from NXT. Not a bad match on the card. Almost everything on the show was pretty much enjoyable, I thought. And I had a lot of fun watching it. You know, as NXT does, like I said, they deliver, and there's just a great showing from everyone here. Of course, the end signified the end for the main event, which was Samoa Joe and Finn Bálor feud. The end, was an indication that, a lot of these guys saw on the show might not be in NXT, at the next takeover because of the draft coming up. So the end had a lot of meaning. The whole tagline was the end of the beginning, and I thought, if this was some guy's send-off show, so that was a great way to send some people off. So definitely 2 thumbs up for NXT for this great show, and I had a lot of fun. And let's jump right to the show. Of course, open up with the debuting Andrade, Cien, Almas taking on Dillinger. I thought this was a fun opener, and the crowd was red hot for it. The crowd was behind Dillinger for the most part in this match, and Dillinger had a really good showing as well. Cien Almas had a really good showing as well. Great debut for him. I thought he definitely debuted in a great way with Dillinger. The music and the entrance and the look was kind of iffy on right now, but I may get used to it as time goes. I thought it was a great showing from him. He busted out some maneuvers that I don't think a lot of people have seen. Dillinger surprisingly had a lot of offense in this match. It almost seemed like this was Dillinger's debut because Dillinger had so much offense in this match, and it seemed like he was actually going to win this match at some point. So definitely a hot opener, definitely a great debut for Cien Almas. Cien Almas took the victory with the double knees to the face into the bottom turnbuckle as Dillinger laid there, pulled him out, pinned him 1, 2, 3. So like I said, definitely a great debut for Andrade, Cien Almas taking on Dillinger. Great showing. Expect big things for him in NXT. So definitely a hot way to kick off the show. From there, we're going to the NXT Tag Team Championship match, the American Alpha versus the Revival. In my opinion, match of the night. Talk about a awesome tag team wrestling match here. The Revival and American Alpha, they were here, but in this match, they were on a completely different level for some reason. I don't know if they're motivated or what their motivation was, but they were spectacular. This was a spectacular tag team wrestling match. If you thought their TakeOver Dallas match was good, this was spectacular. This was better than their TakeOver Dallas match, in my opinion. This was a lot of fun. Crowd was red hot. Like I said, both teams were just on a different level. You saw the athleticism from American Alpha. Both Jason Jordan and Chad Gable were great in showcasing their abilities. The Revival played a great role as the old classic tag team wrestling that they were trying to bring back. They definitely did a great job as heels as well. Just a lot of fun. Crowd was red hot. Just great maneuvers as well. Like I love the tag team maneuvers. How American Alpha will go for grand amplitude, but one of the Revival members, because I can't remember who prevented who from getting the grand amplitude, would remove the other one and grab him midair and prevent it, and vice versa with the American Alpha saving their partner from getting finished. And there's a lot of great wrestling. Chad Gable is the man, by the way. He reversed. Looks like they're going for the Doomsday device. I'm not really too sure what the Revival was going for, but Chad Gable is up. One of them jumped up the top rope, and Chad Gable in midair reversed it to a belly-to-belly suplex, which the landing was pretty rough on the most part, but it turned out pretty awesome. Still, Chad Gable reversing into a belly-to-belly. Just a fantastic wrestling match here, ladies and gentlemen. I can't put this match over enough. Huge, shocking ending as well. Revival going for grand altitude. One of the Revival members was able to pull Chad Gable out and caught the other one in the air, and they actually ended up reversing it into the Shadow Machine. Awesome finish. 1, 2, 3. The Revival, your brand new NXT Tag Team Champions. Did not see that coming at all. But an awesome finish to an awesome match. I can't put this match over enough. It's great tag team wrestling. These guys are on a completely different level, and they all deserve medals after this match because they were amazing, all 4 of them. Kudos to everyone in that match. So very surprised that the Revival won the tag team titles back. The only logical thing I would think that they won the tag team titles back is because American Alpha will probably get called up during the draft. So that's the only reason I can see why American Alpha lost. Besides that, I don't know why else they lost. So, it was a short title reign, but I guess they want to get the tag team titles on them. Or maybe they're getting called up a lot sooner than Triple H thought, so they had, they took the titles back off them. But I don't know. Like I said, the only indication I can think of is American Alpha was getting called up. After the match, American Alpha is kind of soaking in their loss, and all of a sudden these guys come out of nowhere, these 2 big guys, and I guess they're called the Authors of Pain. They attack American Alpha, and then all of a sudden you see on the ramp, you see Paul Ellering come out, who hasn't been seen in quite some time. So it's pretty cool to see him back in the mix. He used to manage the Road Warrior, so it's really cool to see him back. And yeah, I guess a big cliffhanger is the Authors of Pain are going to be a thing now in NXT, and I don't know. It was a cool ending, but also kind of confusing because you didn't know who these guys were. But it was definitely a nice build to going into the regular NXT taping shows. So it's going to be interesting how things unfold, seeing a lot of new talent coming in, so that should be good. But yeah, definitely, like I said, match tonight, in my opinion, great tag team wrestling from both teams. Then we go on to Shinsuke Nakamura versus Austin Aries. Another great match here from both guys. Austin Aries looked really, really good in this match. I'm not saying Nakamura didn't, because Nakamura is Nakamura, but Austin Aries put on a better showing than I actually expected him with Nakamura. Not trying to downplay Austin Aries. Austin Aries is great, but he had a lot more offense, I guess I should say, in this match. I thought he was very aggressive. Definitely went after Nakamura. Was working on Nakamura's leg for the most part during this match, trying to prevent him from giving him the Kinshasa. Nakamura was just Nakamura. Working ass from them. Strong style, definitely played effect in this match. Both men were killing each other. Austin Aries with the dives through the ropes on the outside were just suicide dives, were just absolutely awesome. I believe Austin Aries went through the middle rope, he just went completely through it, not under it. He went right through the middle rope because that's what it looked like. Then of course went to do it again. Nakamura moved and Aries just ate shit right into the barricade, which looked great, by the way. It was kind of funny too, that the way he ate shit, but. Yeah, Aries ate shit, and then of course Nakamura got back in the ring, hit the Kinshasa in the back of the head of Aries, followed by a Kinshasa in front of Aries, right to the face for the 1-2-3 victory. So Shinsuke Nakamura gets the victory. Great match here from both men, like I said. Strong style existed. Aries looked great. Nakamura looked great. What more could you ask for? I thought the match definitely delivered for the most part. So kudos to both men for a great match. Really enjoyed that. And Nakamura is the man. From there, I'm going to the NXT Women's Championship match, Asuka versus Nia Jax. I will say, I was very impressed with this match because going into it, I didn't think it was going to be very good. I knew Asuka was great, Nia Jax not so much. But this match kind of proved me different. I don't know if it was Asuka that made Nia Jax look so good, but Nia Jax looked really good in this match. She showed her aggressive side. She actually looked pretty athletic. Like Asuka would go for the an arm bar, but Nia Jax quickly would get out of it really quickly. So Nia Jax put on a really good showing this match. Asuka, probably her best showing she's ever had, probably her best match she's ever had in period. Just really good back and forth stuff from both ladies. Like I said, I wasn't really expecting too much, but I actually had a lot of fun with this match. I thought it was great stuff from both competitors. Really liked the ending as well. Asuka trying to block in the Asuka lock, but Nia Jax would get out of it. And of course, Asuka just hitting the spin kicks and not knocking Nia Jax down. And of course, Asuka was just murdering Nia Jax with the kicks left and right. And to the point where Nia Jax is like, ah, she screamed pretty much like that come on, hit harder scream. And of course, Asuka being Asuka delivered, kicked her, I believe 2 more times after that, and pretty much knocked her out for the 1-2-3. Asuka wins with the side kick to the head when Nia Jax was on her knees to lay her down for the 1-2-3 victory. So, like I said, I had a lot of fun with that. A lot better than I expected, because going into it I didn't think it was going to be that good, but I was surprised, and it ended up being a really good match. So definitely good stuff from Asuka, and a really good showing from Nia Jax. So kudos to both women there. And of course, before the main event, we had a backstage segment with William Regal being interviewed by Kathy Kelly. And before, as he's getting interviewed, you saw Bobby Roode walking into Regal's office. So another indication of the man Bobby Roode coming into NXT. Really liking the way they're taking kind of their slow time with it, not rushing and throwing him right onto NXT right away. They're kind of slowly anticipating, and so I like that, little segments like that. Of course, back at TakeOver Dallas, they had a little segment with him in the crowd, and now here they had the segment with him walking backstage. So I like the little anticipation towards Bobby Roode's debut. So I thought that was a good little segment there. And then, of course, we go to the main event, which was the first ever steel cage match for the NXT Championship, Samoa Joe versus Finn Bálor. I thought this was a great cage match, definitely a great way to cap off their feud. Finn Bálor had an awesome entrance as the Demon, came out, looked great. Samoa Joe just staring down the Demon, and I thought they put on a really good match here. This probably wasn't their best match they've had, but definitely a very good match. I like this steel cage, by the way. This steel cage was a legit steel cage. It wasn't a steel cage where when you get hit into it, it shakes, 100 miles per hour. This steel cage, there was no bouncing off. In a regular WWE steel cage, you'd hit it and the cage would bounce. When you hit it, it was just, you go straight down. There was no bouncing in the cage. The cage was just firm, stiff, and it was a legit steel cage match. So that's what I really liked about this as well, the fact that it was a legit steel cage. They utilized the steel cage, they didn't utilize it all that much. Of course, they tried to escape a few times in this match. They threw each other in the cage a few times. Besides that, they really utilize the cage for their spots, which, it is utilizing the cage, so I guess it does count. Finn Bálor hit a sling blade off the top rope, with the cage holding him, jumped off, hit a sling blade. Finn Bálor actually hit the sling blade quite a lot in this match. He hit it 6 times, it seems like. Then, of course, Samoa Joe was using the cage as well. Finn Balor tried to escape out of the cage. You know, Samoa Joe grabbed Finn Balor, smashed his head into the cage, grabbed him up into a muscle buster off the second rope. 1, 2, 3. Samoa Joe wins, retains the NXT Championship. Like I said, it was a good match, a really good match, a great match actually. Was it their best they've had so far? I wouldn't say it necessarily. I'd say out of the 3 takeover matches, probably their weakest. But that's not saying it's bad by any means. It's just, you know, saying it wasn't as good as the other ones. But, you know, it was a war. You know, both guys. I wish they would have utilized the cage a little bit more. Like I said, I do know they utilized the cage. They threw it into it a few times. They, you know, tried to do their signature maneuvers off the cage. But I wish they would have used more of it, because I guess they built it more as like this cage is gonna, you know, defy the feud, and it's gonna end it right there. But I don't know. I guess I had a little more expectations for it. But I definitely thought it was a great match. I liked how they both kicked out of each other's finishers. You know, Balor hit the coup de grace, Joe kicked out. Joe hit the first muscle buster, Balor kicked out. So I liked how Joe had to use the muscle buster out the second rope to put Balor away for the victory to retain the championship. So definitely a great main event. Joe walks out champion, Finn Balor. Where he goes from NXT here, I would assume he's done. I definitely think he's going to be one of the guys in the draft to get called up. So I think this was definitely Finn Balor's swan song, to say the least. But definitely a great way to go out against Samoa Joe in the steel cage for the NXT Championship. So definitely a great showing from both men. And it was a great show. I think everyone on the show had a great showing. Ty Dillinger, Andrade, everyone on the card had a great showing. So everyone on the show deserves a round of applause for their amazing performance. Great show. Great takeover. Definitely had a lot of fun with it. Next takeover is TakeOver in Brooklyn, of course, during SummerSlam weekend. That should be another great one, as always. And NXT, you know, it's going to be revamped heavily, you know, during the draft. I know the draft, they're probably going to have a lot of guys get called up. So NXT is going to have a completely different facelift, probably, you know, towards the end of the summer. So it's going to be interesting how NXT turns out after all these people get called up, and hopefully all these people come in that are getting signed. So NXT is going to be interesting the next few weeks, as well as the main roster. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed TakeOver. If you guys watch it, if you guys would like, please in the comments below, leave your guys' thoughts on the show if you guys would like. And until next video, I'll see you guys then. Until next time, I'll see you guys then. If I just said that twice for no reason. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later.